The potential for tropical development in the Gulf needs watching early this week. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather. Fantastic to see you for the latest video. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we do have a potential tropical development area in the Gulf. I'm going to have all the newest information on that. We'll talk about the Saharan air layer blasting through the Caribbean, tropical waves, the winds, and the strong thunderstorms they will bring as well. Let's get started. Meteo Mundo, sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. They walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. It's storm season. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. As always, let me know what's been happening in your area, what the weather has been like. Current surface analysis for today. We still have our Bermuda high in place, but we have this old frontal boundary and this developing surface trough on the end of that could start to spin up as it moves from east to west across the peninsula of Florida and into the eastern Gulf. Elsewhere, we still have a big layer of Saharan air. We have a tropical wave moving through portions of Central America right now, and we're starting to see the tropical train track develop here across the southern sides of the Atlantic Basin. And we'll talk about how those will be moving into the Caribbean for the week ahead as well. But let's start off with, of course, what's been going on today. Now, you can see the thunderstorm activity developing over Florida into the northern sides of the Bahamas. This is kind of, again, on the end of this frontal boundary and this surface trough beginning to develop off of Florida's east coast. First of all, rich tropical moisture in play right now. All the numbers that you see are wind gusts in miles an hour. So look, it's going to be a stormy afternoon for the eastern side of Florida, really all the peninsula of Florida, back through most of the northern side of the Bahamas, from Walker's Key to the Abacos, Freeport, Bimini on over towards Andros, Eleuthera, Cat Island areas. Let me bring on the live radar out of this area right now. And again, thunderstorms are breaking out for Grand Bahama, Freeport, Lucaya, back on over towards the southern sides of Great Abaco. Walker's Keys had a few thunderstorms, then the Miami area towards Florida City and Homestead. Frequent lightning, heavy rainfall, gusty winds will accompany all of this scenario. Now, we've also had some very strong winds developing here in the central sides of Florida lately, and you can see some of the really nasty storms that continue to work their way across the I-4 corridor towards I-95. Now, down the road, and you can clearly see the spin associated with this, I'm going to go back over to the satellite imagery here, take off that radar data, at least for now. Eventually, this will start to move into the eastern Gulf, and that's where we can have potential development as early as Tuesday, maybe on Wednesday. So all eyes will be on the North Gulf Coast, right? Anywhere from Louisiana to the panhandle of Florida. First of all, regardless of tropical development, there's going to be a lot of heavy rain and gusty winds the next several days here in the southeast and the northern sides of the Bahamas. We'll take a look at some of these rainfall totals, which could be quite impressive. So just like this time last week, I mean 7 days ago, when we started to see the beginnings of Tropical Storm Chantal develop, that's what I'll be monitoring. Same situation. Old frontal boundary, surface trough developing. This time, instead of Chantal moving from west up to the northeast to the Carolina coastline, this will kind of retrograde or move back west and into the eastern Gulf, and that's where we could have some development here. But again, a lot of heavy rainfall associated with all of the tropical moisture that's going to be sitting over this area. Some of the showers and storms will be able to make the central sides of the Bahamas as well. So even places like Rum Key and San Salvador, Exuma, and Long Island, a couple of scattered showers, even breaking out down towards the Acklands, Mayaguana at the hour. We've had a couple over the Caicos, trying to get a few showers even to develop over the Grand Turk area. Now, it's interesting because the Turks and Caicos actually are under a Saharan air advisory right now, a dust advisory there through early on Tuesday because of the concentration of Saharan dust. But this trough is spinning up enough tropical moisture to bring up some showers and storms. Now, if you're new to Meteo Mundo, we have live cameras here. Love to show you guys these. So this is a live look to central Eleuthera, Governor's Harbor in the Bahamas. And again, overcast skies, not a lot of wind when the showers and storms aren't in the area across central Eleuthera, but could pick up again some heavier downpours, especially north of central Eleuthera up towards Nassau, New Providence, and Grand Bahama. But even here, we can see pockets of heavier rain. Now, you get a little bit farther south towards Long Island. That's not a horrible shot as well. This camera is looking west from the White House area, and right now, as we look west from Long Island, we're looking pretty darn nice. But again, I'm going to have a lot more on this potential development area coming up. We'll look at all of the models included here as we move into early next week. We're going to see more thunderstorms in the western sides of Cuba as well, Havana towards Cienfuegos, trying to get a couple of showers to develop over the Cayman Islands, but relatively speaking, we've been dry across the area for today. Few thunderstorms developing on the far western sides and the southern coastline for my friends in Jamaica, especially from Montego Bay, Cambridge, down towards Black River, Sav-la-Mar, Negril, Lucy area, so St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover parishes here. We're going to get a little bit better opportunity for a few more storms, southern coastline, including Kingston, Portmore, and Spanish Town, early for the week ahead, all right? And that would be the afternoon thunderstorms, maybe a few showers on the eastern parishes early in the morning. But again, nice little lightning blow up here late today, and you can see those thunderstorms rapidly developing over the Sav-la-Mar area. If you guys live in Jamaica, let me know what's been happening in your area as well. You get a little bit farther east, and yes, there's some Saharan dust, but there also is that tropical wave, and you can see the moisture streaming in with that. So it's a battleground here across Haiti and the Dominican Republic for today. We've had pretty darn good thunderstorms develop here late on this Sunday, east of Port-au-Prince, right across the country border, and then back over to the interior sections of the DR, just north of the Santo Domingo area, Azua area there, Samana, trying to get a couple of thunderstorms near the La Romana area, San Pedro de Macorís, Punta Cana area. Could all see a shower or a thunderstorm here. We're also beginning to see some mid-level moisture moving back into Puerto Rico at the hour, so we're picking up some winds here from Aguadilla to Ponce on over towards San Juan, and again a little bit more overcast here. Also, we still have the Sahara dust. So, again, we're getting a little bit of moisture, but not a lot of rain because of that drier air in place, and certainly some haze in the sky will continue to dominate the forecast. Same situation here for my friends in the Lesser Antilles. We'll continue to see relatively hazy conditions through tomorrow, but that will begin to alleviate. The Saharan air layer will begin to disperse, and we will start to see more tropical moisture move back in. So, at this point in time, it's more about the temperatures and what's been happening as far as the haze in the area. These are the actual temperatures here for today. And again, it's been pretty warm. Feels like temperatures have been approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit in a couple of spots. These are actual air temperatures right now. St. Martin up to 88 degrees. Not as bad in Montserrat and Antigua for today. Passing isolated showers for Guadalupe on over towards Dominica, but again, a hot forecast there. Martinique up to 88. We've had some cloud coverage, but not a horrible Sunday here in St. Lucia, where we bring in our next camera. Live look outside to Corinth, St. Lucia on this late Sunday afternoon. And again, just a beautiful shot there. A little bit of vertical development to the cloud coverage, but hardly a breath of wind. I had the wind gusts on, and you saw nothing in the Lesser Antilles, which was extremely fresh. That's a nice Sunday there to wrap things up for the weekend in St. Lucia. Back on over to our weather computer here. A little bit of clouds and a few thunderstorms developing just off of the west coast of Barbados. But again, the fresh easterlies there. So we look back down towards the Bridgetown area. Again, southeast winds pretty much sustained right around 15 miles an hour with some higher gusts. It's been a beautiful day for the rest of the Windward Islands, St. Vincent and the Grenadines on over towards Grenada. Again, an isolated shower storm trying to develop near Port-au-Prince there in Trinidad. We could see some of that, but it's going to be few and far between, guys. Now, down the road again, this time of the year, we start to look back into the Atlantic Basin. These waves aren't still traversing all the way from the west coast of Africa, but they're becoming a little bit healthier and more organized here in the Atlantic Basin and moving farther north in latitude. You can see we're losing the visible satellite imagery here as late in the day as we're getting, but that next tropical wave is on the march. On over towards my friends of the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao still have had some localized downpours over the weekend. Outside of that, temperatures have been on the hotter side. Bonaire today, well over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 32 degrees Celsius. Current wind gusts as over the last 6 hours. Doesn't look like we've had any extremely strong wind there, but again, still fresh easterlies across the island. So let me take you to Oranjestad. Again, live look outside here. One of the exclusives we can bring you here at Meteo Mundo. Beautiful shot. Love the sun glistening off of the coastal waters there and the beach. And again, still a fresh breeze there from the Oranjestad area in Aruba, but not a bad way to wrap up the weekend. A little bit of haze in the sky. Nothing too horrible here. Thunderstorms continue to be fairly prolific across Panama, Costa Rica. That last tropical wave is right over portions of Nicaragua on over towards Honduras. And look at the thunderstorms developing, running towards places like Managua and the Tegucigalpa area. areas, and then they're going to be swinging back into the northern sides of Honduras, including the Bay Islands. So La Ceiba, San Pedro Sula, Utila, Roatan, Guanaja, passing showers and storms, the breezy conditions, hot and humid when it's not raining. Few thunderstorms inland sides of Guatemala and on over towards Belize, so just southwest of San Ignacio. There is that axis of the tropical wave. So late today, you're going to see more thunderstorms developing off of the mainland of Belize and then working its way back in. So San Pedro, back down towards Belize City and Dangriga, the southern sides of Quintana Roo, inland of the Chetumal area, Tulum, Cancun, Cozumel, a few thunderstorms trying to make a run towards the Merida area, Campeche as well, but more isolated when you get this far north, just not as much, but not completely dry. So let's get into the forecast, friends. We got to do that. Thanks for taking a quick second and liking and subscribing to the channel. Both really help things out, and I do appreciate taking a quick second to do both of those. The channel appreciates it as well, I promise you that. Thanks for becoming members of the channel as well. Again, subscribing is always free. You want to support the channel by being a member for 99 cents a month. You can become a supporter. Custom badges and emojis during our live streams. I shout you guys out. We have the new leaderboard in the live streams. You guys will see that as well. Another interesting thing YouTube is doing. Team MM members for $2.99 a month. You get access to exclusive member shorts. So I'll grab a phone, I'll do some updates in between videos, kind of my behind the scenes thoughts, maybe an extended look at what I'm thinking about the tropics. We'll do that before and after the video sometimes, and I appreciate all of the Team MM members as well. All right, Sahara dust over the next few days. We're gonna have another plume coming back in late this week, gonna mainly impact the Leeward Islands. Now this plume that's right now, again, fighting that tropical wave in the Central Caribbean is going to bring hazier conditions to Jamaica, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Central America, and the Yucatan over the next couple of days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, concentration of dust moves west. A little bit quieter early to midweek here in the eastern sides of the Caribbean until Thursday when we start to see the next Saharan air layer moving in. Again, highest concentrated Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands on over towards Puerto Rico, but we'll talk about that. In between, of course, we're going to get another tropical wave coming through, which will impact and bring higher rain chances. So let's get into kind of everything right now. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go over the next 3 days, go island by island with the rainfall forecast, and then deep dive into what I expect to be developing here in the Eastern Gulf. And there's still a lot of, again, question marks to that, but there's a lot of different things that we can take a look at as well. So let me fire up. We'll start with the GFS model here, and then as we get into this area, I'll bring on a couple of other models to take a look at as well. First of all, again, and we'll put a pin in this for a second. We'll mention the very heavy rainfall for Florida, the southeast side of the United States in general, and of course for the central and the northwest Bahamas. It's going to be an active Monday and Tuesday across Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, the Abacos, Bimini, New Providence, on over towards Andros, Eleuthera, even into Cat Island in San Salvador, Rum Key, Berry Islands, on over towards Exuma, and the Acklands, even as far southeast as that. The opportunity for some heavier rain. Generally speaking, the farther north that you go, the better opportunity. Thunderstorms will be very prolific from Cienfuegos on over towards Savannah, and then that Saharan air layer gets into the Caribbean, so it starts to limit the chances on the southern flank of this. We do not have at this point in time the large wave and strong wind advisory for Jamaica, but again, we'll have limited rain chances here. Can't rule out a couple of thunderstorms, mainly southern parishes in the afternoon hours. I'll be watching that. A little bit more moisture there, relatively speaking, but the rain chance isn't crazy high. Same situation for the Cayman Islands. Once we see this tropical wave move through, rain chances start to become limited more back into the Yucatan starting on Monday. So Cancun, Cozumel, back down towards the Tulum areas, Belize, Guatemala. Again, scattered rain. It's not completely dry for Utila, Roatan, and Guanaja, but not a healthy rain chance like we had for today. And even down towards the southern sides of Nicaragua, some rain for Panama and Costa Rica, but it's not as concentrated here over the next couple of afternoons. We'll also see the rain chances fall briefly for the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Again, we're seeing the Saharan air layer move away, but rain chances should be down a bit, and then they'll start to return beginning late on your Monday for Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. So rain chances going back up and some opportunities with a little bit more rich tropical moisture in play for some heavier downpours. So Anegada, Virgin Gorda, Yost Van Dyke, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Vieques, Culebra, the eastern sides of Puerto Rico, especially Fajardo, San Juan areas, scattered showers over the eastern sides of the DR, Punta Cana, Santo Domingo could see some passing showers. Rain chances will begin to improve again, just kind of building each and every day starting tomorrow through Wednesday for Anguilla, St. Bart, St. Martin, Sabas, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda. It's still fast-moving showers, relatively shallow moisture, but overall, if nothing else, we're getting rid of some of the haze. We're improving the air quality as well. Right now, I don't expect the winds to be so fresh that we're going to have a lot of marine advisories. We could still be running some 4 to 6 foot waves, trying to get upwards of maybe 2.5 meter waves in a couple of spots, but it's more isolated than anything else. Still with the fresh easterlies, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, and again, passing showers, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, on over towards Grenada, TNT. A little bit higher concentration down towards TNT, but nothing outrageously high. And there's no sense of or no signs of any tropical development whatsoever with these waves traversing the western Atlantic and getting into the eastern Caribbean. Not expecting a lot of rain outside of the very isolated downpours for Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. It's more like a 20% chance through Wednesday, maybe slightly higher after that, but you get a little bit of haze in the sky. And again, farther west, you get even more haze. My friends in Bermuda, this system is moving away from you. You could get a couple of passing showers here, but again, it's nothing more than a scattered chance at best through Wednesday. So for the Northwest Bahamas, 60% chance tomorrow, 40 Tuesday, Wednesday it's 30. As that surface area moves away from you from east to west, we'll start to pull in some drier air beginning on Wednesday. Not as high of rain chances at all, central and southeast Bahamas. Maybe should have had a little bit higher for tomorrow, but you still have some Saharan air south of you, okay? And that's a big battleground from the central and southeast Bahamas south to Turks and Caicos, where we still have that limited rain chance as well. Again, Saharan air advisory, dust advisory for Turks and Caicos. I also believe for the central and southeast Bahamas as well. Cuba, 40% chance the next couple days, even higher on Wednesday. Cayman Islands rain chances are relatively limited the next few days with the Saharan air layer, then higher again on Wednesday. Isolated rain, maybe a passing thunderstorm in the afternoon for Belize City, even more isolated for Cancun and Cozumel. 40% chance for a shower storm in Jamaica tomorrow, down to a 30% chance on Tuesday and Wednesday. Not a big chance tomorrow for the Dominican Republic, building rain chances through Wednesday. Puerto Rico's rain chances actually improve compared to today, starting tomorrow and go even higher on Wednesday. Building rain chances U.S. and British Virgin Islands as well. Bermuda's rain chances are nothing more than scattered at best. Anguilla's rain chances come up a notch Tuesday, Wednesday, and again, higher rain chances for St. Kitts and Nevis. That's your general trend, my friends, through the Lesser Antilles. 20 to a 30% chance tomorrow, 30 to 40 on Tuesday, 40 to 50 on Wednesday in most spots. Places like Guadeloupe and Dominica, you have a little bit healthier rain chances on Wednesday itself. Not as much down here. Barbados, more fast-moving showers, but not very widespread. Grenada, a few showers here or there. Same thing for TNT. Suriname and Guyana will stay with the scattered variety, and we're going to cross our fingers for a little bit of rain in Nueva Esparta and the ABC Islands. Boaters, please be aware again, freshening winds in the south central sides of the Caribbean. That's the one area that I'm concerned about. Obviously, if we get a close center of circulation in the East Gulf, we're going to pick up the wind and the waves there. You can see that a bit here on the GFS model. This is what this is based off of, the Wave Watch model. So there's a little bit there right now. And then the rainfall totals, again, very significant across the peninsula of Florida, the northern sides of the Bahamas. This is what it looks like here on the European model. Watch this really fill in over the next couple of days. A lot of reds on the map there, 2, 3, 4 inches widespread. I think we're going to get some local 6-inch rainfall totals. That's still one of those things that's developing depending on just how strong that low-level center gets, but the models are trending up. First of all, in the potential for there to be some development, and then 2, the more significant rainfall it could bring to those areas as well. Some heavier rain along the Caribbean coast of both the Yucatan, especially the south side of the Yucatan, and Central America. And again, a little bit drier, Greater Antilles, most of the Lesser Antilles over the next few days, but still some pockets of heavier rain there as well. All right, so let's get into the models and what's going to be happening with this area. So again, 20% chance of development in this area in yellow as of now, fully expecting that chance to go higher as we get a little bit later in the week. Look, if anything is going to happen, more than likely here, it's going to happen by late Tuesday or early on Wednesday. So I'm going to just loop this up for kind of the week ahead. I'm going to take off the 5-day formation zone so you guys can get a little bit clearer view. I would start to watch off of the west coast of Florida beginning early on Tuesday. So that's the 15th. And you can see the GFS model picks up a little bit of that. So as we just stair step this, first of all, you're not going to see anything crazy organized on the GFS model. But underneath this plume of tropical moisture, there is the opportunity. Now, what's interesting thing is that this could be very elongated and then actually try and concentrate itself a little bit more right for the western panhandle of Florida into coastal sides of Alabama, Mississippi, and on over towards Louisiana. Those are the spots more than likely with the highest opportunity to get some stronger winds, regardless of tropical development, and potentially some heavier rain. But in the shorter term, it is the peninsula of Florida with the higher rain chances. But up, east to west across I-10 from the Jacksonville area all the way towards Lafayette, even on over towards Lake Charles, got to just monitor this situation very closely. That's what it looks like on the GFS as far as the reflectivity goes. I'm going to switch over to the local, the low-level winds. Right? So these are going to be your surface-based winds off of the GFS model. It'll take just a second to fully load up for the week. But well, again, what we're looking for is a couple of things. You're looking for kind of purples, pinks, and into whites, stronger winds, but then you're also looking for a closed center of circulation here, right? Now, I've been watching this all day long, and if we go back and start this up again right around Friday morning, if you look again off of Tampa's coast, you'll start to see just a little bit of spin here. You get a couple of different areas of potential here, right? Kind of a void there, goes away. Then you get another area here late on the 16th. It might be a little bit stronger, but is there anything that's truly going to close itself off? Now, Chantal looked very much the same way 48 hours before it developed, and it became a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm. And the sea surface temperatures here in the Gulf of Mexico are already bathwater. They're well into the mid 80s, even upper 80s Fahrenheit in a lot of locations here. So again, that's the situation. As a matter of fact, I can actually live for you guys. So let me bring on the buoy data here. Those should pop up. And then that's the air temperature. Now, again, it really depends on, as we get to the heat of the day, but you can see that some of these numbers, and these are all going to be water temperatures near the coast, are already upper 80s to a couple of 90s in some spots. There's plenty of, there's a nice layer of very, very warm waters here in the Gulf to support this development. If we take a look at the overall spin in the atmosphere here, so this is going to be I show this a lot. This is going to be our absolute vorticity. It's a composite of the low levels of the atmosphere, okay? So it's not truly surface-based, but it is a composite. And you can clearly see this broad spin. I'm going to show you the European model coming up, but the European model is very much in lockstep with the GFS that whatever this spin is, sits out in the Gulf the next couple of days and then meanders towards Louisiana as we get towards Wednesday, maybe Thursday at the latest. Again, the 16th here is going to be your Thursday, so it just kind of meanders into that area. But that's what the European model is also picking up on as well. Because we are close to the United States, there is something else I can show you guys here. I'm going to switch over to the high-resolution rapid refresh model. It's not going to go out nearly as far in time. As a matter of fact, it's only going to take us out until Tuesday afternoon, but it's a high resolution model that updates hourly. And I think you'll get a little bit better idea of what this surface trough might be doing as it moves over the peninsula of Florida. So again, this is probably not even going to emerge into the Eastern Gulf mid to late day on Tuesday, but you can clearly see that spin holding together, and that's why we're going to have all of this abundant tropical moisture across the peninsula of Florida and into the northern and the northwest Bahamas. As this system moves off, the winds will actually turn more southerly and southeasterly central in the northern Bahamas, and that's why we're going to get even pockets of heavier rain there. So that's what it looks like on the HER model. This is the European model ensembles, okay? And you're going to see a couple of L's on the screen develop east of Florida, move across the peninsula, and head right towards New Orleans. Now, again, this is not a high signature on the European ensemble members because there's so many of them, and only a few of them are painting on true low-level centers. But notice, again, it's the same scenario as we get into Thursday, maybe early on Friday, maybe a little bit slower than the GFS, but nothing outrageous as far as timing differences go, but kind of the same exact track where any low-level center would form. Now back over to the European rainfall totals in the Bahamas. Again, Grand Bahama, Walker's Key, Bimini, the Abacos, Eleuthera, New Providence, Andros. These are the areas with the potential for the highest rain. I think we're going to easily get 2 to 4 inches in most spots in locally higher amounts, right? There could be some heavier thunderstorms that are very what we call mesoscale, which is hard for these larger models to pick up on, but I think these are the minimums that you're going to get as this system works its way from east to west. Friends, you know, I'll keep you updated, and I appreciate you guys following us across all of social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, it's mymeteomundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. While you're down there, thanks so much for taking a quick second and liking and subscribing. And please remember that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They cover the entire state of Florida, and if you get any kind of damage to your home, you had wind damage, hail damage, hurricane damage, they'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Leanonmelaw.com is the website. Friends, have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with all the newest information you need to know right here at Meteo Mundo.